Oh hey, Seb here. I'm dying. But before I die, I wanted to review the last movies I was able to see. Starting with Venom, the latest superhero movie, starring Tom Hardy.
I'm feeling really sick.
This movie was bad. The script was one massive comic book cliche. The entire first act is around 40 minutes of lead up to him getting the symbiote, but the whole thing is so quickly cut, none of the actors have any time to act because the movie just wants to skip through scenes to get to the action. And the reason is that the entire plot is so needlessly complicated that they have to condense it to make it shorter, or else this movie would be 3 hours long. It's that type of movie where they made a checklist of what they think makes superhero movies great, and then they went through, checking things off one by one while they were writing the script. Then they put Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and an evil businessman in there, and came up with a plot to tie everything together. And this was what they came up with.
Rolling down the street like a bird in the wind.
The action scenes range from great to pretty terrible. The car chase from the trailer was practically shot and looked pretty great, but the CGI fights at the end were just a mess. You know, they could have made the villain of the movie anything they wanted. There's literally hundreds of characters to pick from. So what did they go with? A grey version of the main character. Can we fucking stop with making the villains of our movies just an evil version of the hero? It adds nothing to a movie. It's so overdone. I actually hate it. You could make a good movie if you fucking try. But you don't try. You just copy shit from good movies until someone makes something new for you to copy off again. You're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make something we've already seen before because you're too afraid to take risks. Even Tom Hardy hates this movie. He's not allowed to say that, of course, but you can tell.
What was your favorite scene to film?
Well, there are scenes that aren't in this movie. There are like 30-40 minutes worth of scenes that aren't in this movie.
Really, your favourite ones?
Yeah, all of them, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
for me.
That's what's in terms of you enjoyed filming them.
Doesn't mean that they were any good, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying? That they weren't no good?
Well, if they didn't make it into the film, it's probably they weren't any good, bro. I hate to break it to you. We all had a meeting and we watched it and we were like, Tom enjoyed making it so much, but it wasn't.
Venom gets a 2 out of 10. I could talk about everything wrong with this movie for hours, but I'm gonna die before I get to the end of it. Instead, I'd rather talk about the other movie I saw last week, Bad Times at the El Royale.
First time at the El Royale?
You have the option to stay in either California or Nevada.
Bad Times at the El Royale is a suspense thriller from writer-director Drew Goddard, who previously directed The Cabin in the Woods and wrote the first Cloverfield movie. It stars Jeff Bridges, John Hamm, Dakota Johnson, and a bunch of other really great actors. Now, I kinda love this movie. When they say you should go see better movies, these are the types of movies I'm talking about. The performances were all really great, especially from the guy who plays Miles. That guy was exceptional.
This is not a place for a priest, Father. You shouldn't be here.
We might need to work on your sales pitch, son. The El Royale, no place for a priest.
Drew Goddard has worked on some really interesting movies before this, and you can tell that this is really a passion project for him. This movie has everything. Guns, knives, 7 strangers, a suitcase full of cash, a shirtless Chris Hemsworth. Go see it. I don't want to say that much about this movie because I think you should go watch it for yourself. If I have one complaint, it's that there were some moments that felt like I wanted more from them, but they were cut in the editing room. And this movie is already 2.5 hours, but there are other scenes that could be a lot shorter. It feels like the original movie was too long and the studio forced them to cut it down, because there are set-offs in the movie that don't have a payoff. But beyond that, this was a perfectly solid, well-acted thriller. Bad Times at the El Royale gets an 8 out of 10. But now, let's talk about the last movie I saw before my untimely death. Halloween 2018. not to be confused with Halloween, the 1978 version, or Halloween, the Rob Zombie remake. This movie serves as a continuation of the original film, and ignores all the other sequels. This reboot picks up 40 years after the first movie, where Michael Myers has been in custody since the original murder spree and is being transported to another facility. He boards the bus and arrives at the other prison where nothing goes wrong and he is safely locked away forever.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
I have mixed feelings about this movie. On the one hand, I love the way it works as a sequel to the original film. There are lots of shots that mirror iconic scenes from that movie, but on the other you've got this B-plot about a bunch of high schoolers, and it's just like any other bad horror movie. The first half of the movie centers on Laurie's granddaughter and her Halloween high school dance, and it's completely unnecessary. There are other times where I'll introduce the people who are about to die, and there'll be a short little scene to give the actors something to do, but it just grinds the movie to a halt. It's at its best when Jamie Lee Curtis is on screen. She's easily the best character in the movie. It makes sense that she would become so paranoid after everything else that happened to her. Michael Myers in this movie is an absolute machine. He gets hit by a car at one point and he's completely fine. He just walks around this town murdering everybody he comes across, and it's absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of horror movies, this one is pretty good. As I said, there are some issues, but overall I had a good time with this one. I'm giving Halloween 2018 a 5 out of 10.
Can you close the closet door?
So that concludes the final episode of The Seb Show. Thanks for tuning in. And before I die, I wanted to show you all my new haircut. I decided to get it cut after a comment from Mr. Russell who said, "You should get a haircut." Oh, and it looks like he's left another comment. What's this one say?